Welcome to the introduction on spreadsheets. Let's get started. When you first open up a spreadsheet program, you might be completely unimpressed because there's nothing in it. All we have is a bunch of rectangles, and there are several of them. They are arranged in columns. The columns go up and down, and if it helps you to think of it, here's a visual. Think of a column going up and down and supporting something. They're also arranged in rows, so if it helps you to think of a row of chairs, that'll help you remember here for later. So they're in rows and they're in columns. The columns are labeled with letters and the rows are labeled with numbers. If I press Control and the arrow key down on my computer, you can see that I have a little over 1 million rows in this spreadsheet. So I have 1,048,576. Again, I'm pressing the Control key and my right arrow, and you can see that my lettering has gone up to XFD. It went from A to Z, then it added AA to AB. That's 16,384 columns, which if you're keeping score at home is a little over 17 billion different cells in this. Come on back here to the top. Each of these cells can be programmed to either hold data of some sort, either that's numbers or letters. We can manipulate it. It can hold mathematical formulas. There's a lot of things that we can do with each one of these different cells inside of a spreadsheet. There are 3 primary reasons why I'm particularly fond of spreadsheet programs. The first one is that they will do the math for you. So in my Home tab here, I'm coming over to the editing group, and here is a button called Auto Sum. I'm here in B16. I want to add up this column of numbers right here. So I'm coming over to the Auto Sum. When I do this, it says it's going to give me the sum of B6 through B15. So each of these cells is named based upon where it's located. So I'm in column B, and it's row 6 through 15. I push enter, and there is my math done for me right there. So you may be a fan of math, maybe you like doing it, but maybe you hate redoing it. Excel is nice because once you've got a formula set up, you can find a mistake. In this case, it's the series here. That should actually be an 8 instead of a 7. When I enter the 8 and I press enter, it's going to change automatically for me my sum. That's one of the powers of Excel, is once you've got the formula set up, it'll just keep the math up to date for you, and you can make whatever changes you need to as you go along. The second thing I like about spreadsheets is their ability to really rather quickly sort information for you. Now this is just the keyboard layout here, but I'm going to select, and I'm going to come over here in my editing group again, and here is my sort and filter button. When I pull this down, you'll see it says sort from A to Z. It will rather quickly put this information for me in alphabetical order. So if I had a list of names, or I had a list of addresses and I needed to find all the cities, I could really rather quickly do that using the alphabetized command. The third reason I like using spreadsheets is it's really quick to show how data fits visually. So I have a table here with Bob, Carol, Ted, and Alice, and I have their 4/4 cells. I can really quickly make a chart and make some sense out of this. These numbers don't tell me an awful lot. So if I go to my Insert tab and I insert one of the recommended charts, it gives me some options here. My first option is on this clustered column. I could do it broken out by quarter. And here we have Bob, Carol, Ted, and Alice's colors here. Or I could do it by salesperson. I didn't mean to do this, but I actually made them all have 20 units that they sold throughout the year. And so there's a breakdown right there. There's a lot of different ways that we can show this. So let's just go by quarter so we can see that fourth quarter was probably one of our best. I click OK, and here is my chart, and I can modify it. So now instead of looking at just a series of numbers, I can look at it and I can say, okay, that makes more sense. I can see which quarter was the best, and I can also view by individual salesperson.